Look, the Switch library is massive, but only a handful of games are the kind you keep coming back to for years. Today, I'm counting down 25 games, both Switch and Switch 2, that you can genuinely play forever. Let's get into it. Mina the Hollower. You play as Mina, a mouse inventor and member of an underground guild called the Hollowers. She gets summoned to a cursed gothic island called Tenebrous Isle, where her spark generators the power sources she designed have all gone dark. Something sinister is behind it, and it's your job to figure out what. The core mechanic that sets this apart is burrowing. You can literally dig underground to dodge attacks, cross gaps, and access hidden areas. Combat uses a whip as your main weapon, but you also collect sidearms and trinkets that completely change how you fight. The game carries Souls-like DNA too, meaning when you die, you leave your resources behind and have to go get them back. Puzzles are genuinely clever and varied. Sometimes you need fast reflexes, other times you're flipping switches in the right order or rerouting terrain. Cult of the Lamb. You play as a lamb who gets sacrificed and then resurrected by a mysterious dark deity called the One Who Waits. In exchange for your second life, you build him a cult. That's the deal. The gameplay splits into two distinct loops that feed each other perfectly. The first is a roguelite dungeon crawler where you run through procedurally generated levels, hack through enemies, collect followers, and eventually fight a boss. The second is a base management sim where you run your actual cult village, build shelters for your followers, feed them, keep them happy, perform sermons, upgrade your doctrines, and handle the constant needs of your growing flock. Between runs, your cult can get sick, lose faith, start fights, or even revolt if you neglect them. The tone is darkly comedic, the art style is adorable, while everything happening is extremely questionable. Super Mario Wonder. The setting is the Flower Kingdom, a colorful new world that Mario and friends are visiting when Bowser absorbs a Wonder Flower and causes chaos. But the real draw is the Wonder Flower mechanic, scattered throughout every single level. When you grab one, the stage transforms into something completely unexpected. Pipes start moving like worms, enemies multiply wildly, you might turn into a Goomba, or the entire level flips perspective. Every stage's Wonder event is a surprise, and they're all different. Movement itself got an upgrade too. New power-ups like the elephant form let you spray water and charge through obstacles. The bubble power-up creates platforms, and Drill Mario lets you burrow through ground and ceilings. The badge system adds personalization, where you equip passive abilities before a level, things like an extra jump or a wall run. Dredge. During the day, you sail out and fish, managing your boat's cargo hold like a puzzle, upgrading equipment, selling your catch, expanding your vessel. It's calm and meditative. But when night falls, fog rolls in, the water warps, and the things you start seeing out there are not fish. The horror creeps in gradually through the narrative told by the townspeople, the books you collect, the strange fish you reel in with too many eyes or wrong anatomies. There's an anomalous catch system fish can have mutations, and cataloging them unravels the world's lore. Sanity plays a role too. Push through the dark too long, and you'll start seeing things. Mechanically, it's tight and satisfying. The fishing is an engaging button-timing minigame, and customizing your boat for different environments feels rewarding. Vampire Survivors is practically a genre by itself now. You pick a character, drop them into an arena, and the game auto-attacks for you. Your only input is moving around. That sounds boring, until the first time you survive long enough to watch hundreds of enemies explode on screen in a chain reaction of overlapping weapon effects, and your brain just goes completely blank with joy. Every few minutes you level up and pick a new weapon or upgrade, and the strategy comes from building synergies. Certain weapon pairs evolve into superpowered versions when combined with specific passives. Figuring out which combos work is genuinely addictive. The sessions are short, usually 15 to 30 minutes, which makes it dangerously easy to say, one more run. There's a huge roster of characters, each starting with different weapons and stats. Stages have their own layouts and gimmicks. Balatro. The basic structure is simple. You're dealt cards, you play poker hands like pairs, flushes, and straights, and you score points to clear a blind. But Balatro warps those rules so aggressively through jokers, collectible modifier cards that change how hands score that by mid-run you might have a build where a single high card is scoring millions of points because of 8 stacked multipliers. Each run, you pass through shops, buy jokers, upgrade your deck, add wild cards, find vouchers, and try to build something that scales hard enough to survive escalating point thresholds. The combinations are nearly endless. Finding a synergy that clicks, a joker that triples your multiplier on flushes, combined with a joker that creates extra flushes, hits the same part of your brain that gambling does, but without any actual money involved. Super Mario Party Jamboree is the most content-packed Mario Party to date, and it finally feels like the series found its footing again after some shaky entries. The core board game is exactly what you remember. Everyone rolls dice, moves around, collects stars, plays minigames after each round, and chaos reigns. But Jamboree goes bigger than previous entries. There are 7 boards total, including fan-favorite maps brought back from older games alongside new ones. The minigame count is over 110, which is legitimately enormous. New additions like Jamboree Buddies, special bonus characters that appear on boards and give advantages, add a fresh layer of strategy to the madness. Online play is the smoothest it's ever been in a Mario Party title. The Koopa Troopa Park mode lets you play with up to 20 people online simultaneously, which sounds chaotic because it absolutely is. Inscryption is a card game, a horror game, a puzzle game, and something else entirely that you'll only understand by playing it. You start in a dark cabin, across from a mysterious figure in shadow who challenges you to a card game. The card game itself is a deck-building roguelite. You build a nature-themed deck using creatures, sacrifice weaker ones to play more powerful ones, and try to tip a scale in your favor by dealing enough damage. It's mechanically interesting on its own, but Inscryption is not just a card game. The cabin is a room you can physically explore. Between matches, there are locked boxes with puzzle solutions, hidden in the card game itself, secrets in the walls, objects you can interact with, and a layer of mystery that keeps pulling at you. I'm being deliberately vague because this is a game where almost every discovery is a surprise. Mario Kart World is the biggest leap the franchise has taken in years. Built as a Switch 2 launch title, it opens up the map in a way the series has never done. There's a full open world connecting all the courses, and you can drive across it freely. The main racing modes are still here, but the new free roam feature lets you explore the world map between Grand Prix events, discovering shortcuts, secrets, and collecting new characters and costumes scattered around. The roster is massive, over 50 characters, including some genuinely unexpected additions from across Nintendo's catalog. New mechanics like rail grinding, wall riding, and a revamped trick system add depth to racing lines. The courses are interconnected, meaning the path you drive between tracks is a continuous stretch of road. Grand Prix mode now takes you on a cross-country journey rather than isolated cup races. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is one of the best fighting game compilations ever made, and it's a genuine time capsule of how the genre evolved. The collection packs in 12 games: Street Fighter 1, the full Street Fighter 2 lineup, including Champion Edition and Hyper Fighting, the Alpha Trilogy, and the Street Fighter III series, including Third Strike. Each game is faithfully emulated, with options for arcade-accurate behavior and smoother modern input assistance. The museum mode is outstanding. Artwork, music players, character timelines, and developer notes covering decades of history. For serious players, online multiplayer is available for 4 key titles: Hyper Fighting, Super Turbo, Alpha 3, and Third Strike. You can practice in training mode, go through the arcade ladder, or jump online and test yourself. Street Fighter II alone could justify the purchase. It's one of the most studied and played competitive games ever made. Dave the Diver is one of those games that keeps revealing new layers just when you think you've seen everything. On the surface, it's about diving. You play as Dave, a hefty and cheerful diver who explores a mysterious blue hole that constantly changes depth and layout every time you enter. During morning and afternoon dives, you catch fish, avoid sea predators, manage oxygen, and explore deeper zones that unlock as the game progresses. But then at night, you run a sushi restaurant with your friend Bancho, and the fish you caught during the day are the menu. The restaurant management is its own game, hiring staff, upgrading kitchen equipment, managing customer rush hours, developing new recipes. Both halves feed each other. Better dives mean better fish, mean better revenue, mean better dive equipment. The deeper you go, the weirder and more wonderful the blue hole gets. Celeste. You play as Madeline, a young woman who decides to climb the fictional Celeste mountain as a personal challenge. The mountain pushes back, and so does Madeline's own anxiety, which manifests as an antagonistic, dark reflection of herself. Mechanically, the game is built around a simple toolkit: run, jump, and dash. That dash one per air, refilled by landing or grabbing certain objects, is the foundation of every challenge in the game. The level design uses that one mechanic and wrings an astonishing range of difficulty out of it, from approachable to extremely demanding without ever feeling unfair. Each chapter introduces new ideas: feathers that let you fly briefly, bubbles, moving platforms, and explores them fully before the next chapter builds further. Hidden collectibles called strawberries are optional but tempting, and B-side and C-side cassette levels exist for players who want challenge well beyond the main game. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the biggest Smash game ever made, and it's not close. The roster alone, 89 playable fighters, including every character from every previous Smash game, plus a massive wave of DLC additions, is staggering. The premise hasn't changed. Knock opponents off the stage by building up their damage percentage, making them easier to launch. But the execution is tighter and faster than any previous entry. Every fighter plays distinctly. The gap between how Pikachu and Ganondorf feel is enormous, and each character has a learning curve that rewards study. World of Light, the single-player adventure mode, sends you through a massive map, collecting spirit characters that act as equipment and stat boosts. There are thousands of spirits. Classic mode, spirit board, stadium modes, and an overwhelming number of stages give solo players hundreds of hours of content. Slay the Spire is the game that made deck-building roguelites mainstream, and it still holds up completely. You pick one of 4 characters, each with their own unique card pool and starting mechanics, and climb a procedurally generated spire, fighting monsters and making choices that shape your deck run by run. Every fight is turn-based. You draw 5 cards from your shuffled deck, play as many as your energy allows, and manage a constant balance between dealing damage, blocking attacks, and applying status effects. Between rooms, you make map choices, fight harder enemies for better rewards, visit campfires to rest or upgrade cards, shop for relics. The depth comes from synergies between cards and relics, passive items that modify the rules in small but crucial ways. A build that seems weak early can snowball into something that makes boss fights trivial if the right pieces come together. Blueprints is the most quietly mind-bending puzzle game in recent memory, and going in knowing as little as possible is genuinely the best way to experience it. You play as Simon Jones, who inherits the sprawling Mount Holly estate from his mysterious great-uncle on one condition: find the hidden Room 46 somewhere inside the 45-room manor. Every day, the manor's floor plan resets and shuffles. You move through it by drafting rooms every time you reach a closed door. You choose from a randomized set of options what room appears behind it. You have a limited number of steps per day before exhaustion forces a reset. That step limit creates constant tension as you map routes, prioritize doors, and push deeper into the manor each attempt. Puzzles are embedded in the rooms themselves: logic problems, cipher codes, hidden patterns. And the story emerges entirely through notes left behind by previous residents. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. You're given a deserted island by Tom Nook, and from there, at your own pace, across real calendar days and seasons, you build a village, decorate your home, collect furniture, grow flowers, catch fish and bugs, befriend animal villagers who move in, and gradually terraform the entire island into whatever you want. There's no win state, no combat, no countdown. The game runs on the Switch's internal clock. Morning feels like morning, winter looks like winter, holidays happen when holidays happen in the real world. The loop of doing a little bit every day, watering flowers, checking the shop's rotating stock, talking to villagers, finding a message in a bottle on the beach, is meditative in a way almost no other game manages. Customization runs deep. Design your own clothing, rearrange buildings, build paths, share island layouts with other players. Ball X Pit is what happens when you take Breakout, smash it into vampire survivors, and somehow also attach a city builder, and all three parts actually work together. The setting is Balbelon, a city built around a culture of ball worship that got destroyed by a giant meteor, leaving behind an enormous pit. You send adventurers down via an elevator, bouncing balls upward into waves of descending monsters. Enemies approach from the top of the screen, and you have to clear them before they reach you. Between rooms, you level up and choose new balls or upgrades: burn balls, freeze balls, lightning balls, and eventually fusions where two ball types combine into something more powerful. On the surface, between runs, you manage a growing settlement, harvesting resources by literally bouncing your characters through crop fields and buildings, unlocking new character classes and permanent buffs. Breath of the Wild. You wake up in a ruined Hyrule, almost entirely conquered by an ancient force called Calamity Ganon. Your memory is gone, and nothing stops you from walking in any direction and doing whatever you find. The game gives you 4 abilities early on: a magnet, a time stopper, a bomb, and an ice maker, and then challenges you to apply those tools creatively to every obstacle you encounter. Physics and chemistry govern the world. Fire spreads, metal conducts lightning, wood floats and burns, wind changes arrow trajectory. The shrines scattered across the world are self-contained puzzle chambers, each with a unique mechanic. Climbing is unrestricted. If you can see a mountain, you can attempt to climb it. The 120 shrines, 900 Korok seeds, 4 divine beasts, dozens of side quests and villages, the density of things to find is staggering. Hades might be the most polished roguelite ever made. You play as Zagreus, son of Hades, trying to escape the underworld to reach Mount Olympus and find his mother. He dies constantly. Every death sends him back to the house of Hades, where he talks to the characters who live there. His father, his caretakers, the Shades, and tries again. The combat is fluid, fast, and satisfying. You pick a weapon from a selection of 6 sword, spear, shield, bow, fists, and rail, and as you fight through chambers, you receive boons from the Olympian gods, each offering combat upgrades that push your run in a specific direction. Boon synergies run deep, and figuring out which builds work is a big part of the fun. The story advances through every death. Conversations continue, relationships develop, new information about Zagreus and his family surfaces with each attempt. Nothing is filler.
You wanna die again?
Splatoon 3 is Nintendo's multiplayer shooter, and it remains one of the most creative takes on the genre in gaming. You're an Inkling, a Squid Kid hybrid who shoots colored ink across arenas. The main competitive mode, Turf War, isn't about kills. It's about covering the most ground with your team's ink color before time runs out. That premise creates a uniquely strategic flow where positioning, map coverage, and knowing when to fight versus when to paint are constantly in play. Ranked modes add more traditional objectives: Splat Zones, Tower Control, Rainmaker, and Clam Blitz, each requiring completely different team strategies. Splatoon 3 expanded the series significantly, with new weapons, new stages, a meaty single-player story campaign, and the return of Salmon Run, a co-op wave defense mode where you hold back waves of salmonid bosses to collect eggs under escalating conditions. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The course count expanded to 96 with the Booster Course Pass DLC, adding tracks from across Mario Kart history. Represents the best collection of racing stages the series has ever assembled. The controls feel great, the item balance works better than most entries, and the anti-gravity mechanics that let you race across walls and ceilings add visual spectacle without complicating the core loop. Battle mode was rebuilt from scratch in the Deluxe version, and offers 5 distinct modes including Balloon Battle and Ba-Bomb Blast. Up to 8 players locally, 12 players online, and a full Grand Prix single-player mode with 200 cubic centimeters as the highest speed class for players who want a real challenge. The sheer variety of courses in the expanded DLC means there's always something familiar, and something from a decade-old entry you might have forgotten. Hades 2 takes everything the original did and expands it in nearly every direction. This time you play as Melinoe, daughter of Hades and sister of Zagreus, a witch trained specifically to defeat Kronos, the Titan of Time, who has somehow defeated Hades and seized control of the underworld. Where Zagreus fought his way up, Melinoe battles both below the surface and above it. The game has 2 distinct underworld routes and a surface world, more than doubling the areas from the original. The weapon roster is bigger and more experimental. A witch's staff, moon-shaped blades, a torch-topped skull, and more. The boon system returns with new Olympians and entirely new gods, and a crafting system adds persistent progression beyond the original's mirror upgrades. Combat feels distinct, more deliberate, with a focus on timing and positioning, while retaining the fluidity that made the original special. Stardew Valley. You inherit a rundown farm from your grandfather and move from the city to a small town called Pelican Town to rebuild it. From there, you farm crops, raise animals, fish, mine through cave systems fighting monsters, collect resources, upgrade tools, cook recipes, befriend and romance the townspeople, restore the community center, and gradually turn your scrubby plot of land into whatever you want it to be. The game runs on seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter, each with different crops and events, giving the year a natural rhythm. Mining the mines beneath town reveals new resources, harder enemies, and eventually whole new underground areas. The townspeople have full schedules, complex backstories told through friendship events, and dialogue that changes with seasons and relationships. Every aspect of this game was designed, written, coded, and drawn by one developer over 4 years. Tears of the Kingdom. Hyrule has fractured, underground depths lie below, sky islands float above, and the surface has been reshaped by an ancient phenomenon involving a villain called Gloom. Link gains 4 new abilities. Ultra Hand lets you grab, rotate, and stick objects together to build vehicles and structures. Fuse lets you attach items to weapons to change their properties. Recall rewinds an object's movement back through time, and Ascend lets you phase upward through any solid surface above you. The creativity these tools enable is enormous. Players have built working flying machines, automated combat vehicles, elaborate elevators, and puzzle solutions the developers certainly didn't anticipate. The depths are a massive area shrouded in darkness where new enemies, ancient structures, and hidden lore wait to be discovered. Sky Islands offer new platforming challenges. Pokémon Pokopia is the most genuinely fresh thing the Pokémon franchise has produced in a long time, and it's a legitimate Switch 2 system seller. You play as Ditto, a shape-shifting Pokémon who wakes up in a desolate, abandoned version of the Kanto region. No humans anywhere, Pokémon hiding in ruins, and a mystery hanging over why the world is empty. You take the form of your missing trainer, and alongside Professor Tangrowth, set out to rebuild the land and bring Pokémon back. The gameplay sits at the intersection of Animal Crossing, Dragon Quest Builders, and Viva Pinata. You gather materials, terraform the land, build habitats, craft furniture, grow food, and attract Pokémon to settle in areas you restore. Each Pokémon has specific preferences. Some need water nearby, some prefer open fields, and learning what each one wants is part of the discovery loop. "25 games that'll keep you on Switch and Switch 2 for years. Roguelites, open worlds, cozy sims, card games, party games, and everything in between. Drop a comment with which one you're playing right now. If you liked this, subscribe, more lists coming soon.